Jacksonville.
Man, y'all know what time it is. T-Law got the eyes of Lee Van Cleef when he go in that field.
Checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
They made a major mistake when they made T-Law go to the spirit of the sky, to the oracle of the saber-toothed tiger, and the saber-toothed tiger now has the scepter in his hand, and he been to put every critic to rest. Man, last night I done marinated 2 turkeys. I got my cherry wood getting ready for my smoker. Just got off from work, off Pritchard Road. I'm going to bake me 2 Cornish hens. My special recipe, I call it a Mediterranean Cornish hen. I'm going to top it off with my homemade Long Island iced tea. And I'm only going to top it off with 1 red top of Coca-Cola. The Maxwell House coffee will live on forever. Duval!
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. Just when you lose all faith in humanity, Holiday comes in. I mean, honestly, I can't. He really is like a magic potion for me, Tony. I was thinking about something completely unrelated to this show, and it wasn't a happy thought, and then I heard Holiday break in with that Lee Van Cleef line, and that's all it takes. But I am told that Mixmaster Dylan Denmark will have a fresh one for us tomorrow. Is that right, Mr. Pockets?
That is in the works.
A training camp special,
yes,
for tomorrow. A little hype action to get us ready to go. Speaking of hype action, we'll get to ET here coming up in a minute. Nice video that he put together. He probably retweeted it. You can find it at IamE2the.
It's on the 1010 Twitter, too.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, we did it, too.
We did send it out. All right, so you can check it out at 1010XL on Twitter. We'll get to that coming up. Today, John Ogier will join us in studio because tomorrow a bunch of us will be out there at the practice field, at least for me, a portion of training camp as things get underway, Tony. But today is Tuesday, and we're not to the point yet where the Tuesday top 5 has come to a conclusion. So we warned you last week. Last week was all sunshine and rainbows, and we looked for reasons for optimism for your Jacksonville Jaguars. But today, we're taking the opposite tack. And quite frankly, I don't know how much of this, we talked about this a little bit, I feel like this subject, your top 5 reasons for concern, is almost the mirror image of what we talked about last week.
A little bit, yeah.
For me, it's more than a little bit. It's like I can be optimistic about certain aspects and hope for the best, but at the same time, they worry me, because you don't know what the outcome's going to be.
It's not like when we were talking about the things that we were positive about with the team last week, that while you're having those conversations, you know why those are the things that are on your list. Right? Because these are likely the most important things that are happening with the football team.
And you hope for the best.
Right. Their success or failure in these areas are going to directly correlate in their success or failure in the 2024 season. Like, there's no way around any of that. So, yeah, there's a lot of overlap between last week's list and this week's list. I did leave injury stuff off of it.
I did for the most part, with one small exception,
right,
but it's just part of a bigger picture.
Right. Like, there's so little you can do about the injury thing. I get it. There are guys that the injury thing creeps up on them, and some guys have been more prone to that to this point in their career. If you want to include that on these kind of lists, I get it.
You could say about almost any team in the league, what if our starting quarterback gets hurt?
Absolutely.
Number one concern.
Absolutely. And so I didn't put anything on my 5, at least. It's like depth at this position is what worries me. It's like, well, that's the NFL, right? The odds that you have depth everywhere that you think you could use depth are almost zero in today's NFL. There are a couple of areas where the Jags have pretty good depth. Defensive line interior, I think they got good depth. I think offensive tackle, they have good depth, though they don't have great players at the top of that list necessarily. But I think they're pretty good with the depth in those areas. And pretty much everywhere else, they're like, I would assume the other 31 teams in those areas. There are very few teams that get an injury in a spot where Jaguars fans are going, we can't afford an injury here. No one can afford an injury
Like
there.
you had Philly a few years ago, had Jordan Mailata as a backup tackle, and, with a profile that he was going to be a rising star. Yeah. Occasionally you find a team that has that depth at one spot,
it
right?
Works out for them.
And it's rare. And, I mean, Philly, that team a couple of years ago, it's not – I don't know if it lines up exactly with Mailata's emergence, but they had the 4-10 sack guys on the roster. Who has that kind of pass rush luxury in the National Football League?
It was a rarity in the history of the league.
Right. So, you're just not going to see that. Now, you say you're not going to see that. You can see it on occasion, but to count on that is rare. What if Travis Etienne gets hurt? What do we have behind him? Well, how many teams have a guy, there are probably a few at the running back spot, but not that many that, if Derrick Henry goes down, Justice Hill is maybe a nice player. He's not Derrick Henry for the Baltimore Ravens.
A little bit of what your plan is.
Right. I mean, and so I think your point is, the bigger point is everybody faces that, and it's always an ongoing concern. Every snap in the National Football League, it's a concern. You just can't live in that fear and dwell in it all the time or you'd go crazy.
And I know we've played the game on occasion where I get it. Fans talk about the depth on the offensive line, and I don't think it's something that they can afford to ignore, year to year. And if they had addressed it more than they did this offseason, I think you and I would have been on board with it. If they had decided to go that direction, right, I would have been okay with the Jags drafting an offensive lineman in the first round instead of Brian Thomas Jr. Like, I would have been okay. If that's the decision they had ultimately made, I'm cool with the decision they made and bringing in Brian Thomas Jr., but would have been fine with them drafting another offensive lineman. I think when you look at depth on the offensive line around the league, you'll recognize that no one has it, right? There are times, like you mentioned with Philadelphia, where it worked out for them. They developed somebody got hurt, they stepped into the lineup, and they found out this guy can score 15 points a night for us, right? Like, I think there are a bunch of guys in the NBA that could do that if you let them, but you don't get that opportunity because somebody's better than you.
Most of them play for South Sudan, apparently, on top of that, and Germany.
Right, but I think offensive linemen are that way because there's only the 5. No one else is playing, So the backup offensive linemen, you never even get to see these guys play. So none of that gets exposed really until somebody does get hurt. And then you learn whether or not you had depth on the offensive line. That's when you learn. Somebody gets hurt, they go on the field, you're like, he's good, he's okay, we can play with this. Like, that's how it works in the league.
By the way, you opened the door to basketball. How does the USA not have more knockdown three-point shooters other than Steph Curry? Seriously. I mean, the whole world's got like 15 guys on the roster that can bury threes.
That's the game.
If you're wondering why these teams, if you're watching these games, and I've watched most of these tune-up games, they're knocking down threes at a crazy rate against the United States. It's true, right? Yeah. And it's a great equalizer. So anyway, just an aside back from the day when we used to talk about a wide variety of sports. All right, so our man E.T. still laid up. By the way, I got to mention before we get to that, because the E.T. obviously tore his Achilles playing pickleball. Yeah. We found out yesterday that Mark Carnival, who with PGA Tour Radio, former tour golfer, big friend of 1010XL, always on with XL Primetime, passed away as well. I believe it was during a pickleball game.
Wow.
Right? I mean, you just don't know people. No. And so condolences out to Carney's family.
Yeah, that's awful.
And his many friends out there. And this just happened. And, I know him. I wouldn't say we're like tight or anything like that. I'm not trying to pretend like that, but it's just like, appreciate the people you got that you care about in your life, man, because 1 second they're here and they're not necessarily here the next. It's just the way things go. So not to try to bring things down, but wanted to recognize that. So shifting it back to our man E.T. here as gently as we can transition that. He made I guess you call it a hype video.
He narrated the video.
He narrated the video. The video was made by a buddy of his,
Noah Thomas.
And thank you, Dylan. Look at you, Johnny on the spot right there. And so we can't show you the video here on Jaguars Today, but we can certainly play the narration. So settle in for these next 90 seconds.
A legacy echoes through time.
spread. Taylor erupts. He's in a straight. Lawrence fires. Touchdown to Jimmy.
This right here, this isn't just a team. This is a brotherhood formed by one singular purpose: to rise up and be remembered amongst the greats. But greatness isn't inherited, it's made through blood, sweat, and tears. As the past meets the present, a new chapter unfolds. With every snap, every tackle, and every touchdown, they honor the legacy of who came before, while blazing a new trail for a future filled with triumph and trophy.
They call me badass, and I'm position. You ain't my equal, we do what I ain't wanna do. Just trying to eat, I grab my plate up off the lunch table. I took my mouth up and I'm tired with me cake. They said it all finished.
Picked off by Tyson Campbell. Back of the end zone. Touchdown, Stroud. Sacked again. Trayvon Walker.
My kids all gone. Don't make us set it all finish, mother.
The way the organization's going and the direction that we're heading on the football side, and I want to be the quarterback here. I want to bring a championship to Jacksonville. That's my goal.
Yeah, I had only watched it once still, and I'm glad that there is not a normal and a not safe for work, kind of version. And right there, I was like,
I had the dub button right here.
That was close. That was close, but nice job, ET, keeping it PG-13 for the audience out there. So, again, you can go to the 1010XL timeline on social media and check that out. It's pretty cool. Just another in the pile that you'll watch 30, 40, 50 times today and get you ready for Jaguar football.
Yeah, absolutely. It also made me realize how much I miss ET.
I love my man, ET.
Right? It's like, oh, where's this been?
Yep.
For a little while. We haven't had that energy.
I'm hoping that even though he's laid up, that he returns for another engagement with Come On Somebody in the pregame show, which is always a hype fest to get things rolling on Sundays. So
I know you're listening, buddy. Get better quick.
I hope he's listening. Yeah. ET, we love you, brother. All right. So with that, if you want to hit us up today at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Go Tigers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. You got me there. No clause today. So you can do that and submit your top 5 list, top 5 reasons for concern. That doesn't mean the season's going to go off, the cliff. It's just, what are you concerned about that the Jags must show you, must have proof of concept that they're able to move beyond that this year? Hit us up at 641-1010 on both the Garber Auto Mall phone lines and on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures in the YouTube virtual studio chat. You can hop in there. All kinds of ways to interact with the show. We'll begin the countdown when we come back in a moment. This is Jaguars Today. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Home of the Jaguars. Follow every play, interview, and press conference.
We're really working, trying to get better.
1010XL. Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Denny Thompson here. Tackle burglars and protect your turf. Give yourself peace of mind catching everything around your home with Tyson Sound & Security's cutting-edge surveillance cameras. For safety and convenience, Tyson has you covered for all home cameras and security systems. I'm talking HD recording, night vision, and remote alerts, all from your phone or computer. Call Tyson Sound & Security right now at 904-762-1000. Tyson Sound & Security. Security and automation experts.
Soccer fans, don't miss your chance to see teams from the English Premier League compete in the Stateside Cup right here in Jacksonville. Competition will be fierce when Wolves and West Ham United take the pitch under the lights at Everbank Stadium July 27th. It's Premier Soccer at a premier venue for one night only. Tickets are going fast. Buy yours today at statesidecup.com.
Do the Garber Wiggle, Garber Wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, Garber Wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber Wiggle, Garber Wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, Garber Wiggle.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Find your why in your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
In sports, the grind outside the lines is what ultimately defines our success. Get the amateur's edge, powered by B3 Better, to learn the hidden path of top pros, amateurs, and coaches. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1010XL.
Looking for a new or used firearm? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach will get you locked and loaded. New firearms coming in weekly and always looking for used guns. No lines and no waiting. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
Well, just when I thought summer couldn't get any sweeter, Kohl's has to go ahead and drop their 3-day summer sale. And let me tell you, these deals are too good to miss. I got 40% off swimsuits, tank tops for just $5.99, 40% off Food Network grilling gear, and with an extra 15% off home finds, I scored Sonoma Goods for Life patio furniture for under $25. Yep, thank you Kohl's for fueling our sweet summer of fun. Select styles, offers end July 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World, simply the best for less. And thank you for your business.
Jags fans, the Jaguars are back at the Miller Electric Center for training camp. Presented by Dreamfinder. You won't want to miss out. Stop by to get the first look at Trevor Lawrence and the team as they prepare for the 2024 season. To check out camp dates and secure your tickets, go to jaguars.com/training camp. Daily availability is limited, so lock in your tickets today.
How good is that?
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
All right, we'll get to our countdown today. Johnny O had a homework assignment, okay? Mm-hmm. And he's going to bring his top 5 reasons for concern as well. So we, usually start the countdown in the first segment. Wanted to push it back a little bit so we don't get too far ahead of Johnny O. But we'd love to hear your reasons for concern. Don't try to be sunshine pumpers. I try to look on the bright side. But acknowledge that, all along, we've said all along, what a great offseason. Let's see what you do against Miami. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, that's really going to be the tale because all this good feeling, this goodwill, Tony, if they get off to a 1-4 start, the hell's it going to matter? Right? It won't. I mean, it'll matter for the long term. That it's still good that you're getting the stadium done. You've got your quarterback locked in. You've got your pass rusher locked in. There's a lot of reasons for mid to long-term optimism. Mm-hmm. But
you're supposed to be in the middle of that now.
Right. It's supposed to be the launching pad.
Yeah.
At the very least right now. Had a slight blip, a glitch in the matrix last year.
Yeah.
And we're ready to move forward. So, with that, we throw out the phone lines, 641-1010, the Garber Auto Mall phone lines, if you want to get in and give us your reasons for concern. We'll get to ours. We got Charles on the west side going to bat leadoff, though, this morning on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Charles. How are you?
Hey, good morning. I'm great, guys. Here's
my areas of concern is number one is Trevor's spatial awareness, of where he's at and what he's going to do, which I think will cut down on the fumbles. And then, of course, the ever-recurring defensive rush end is my second concern. And then along with the defenses, the whole unit cohesion of a practically brand-new defense. So of that, I have most concern with the secondary gelling, because the line is, I think comes together a little bit on the defense easier than you do in the secondary because of the communication factor.
Okay.
And number 5, we still need to get our kicker situation squared away, I think, because, I'm leaning towards the new guy, but still. And
I'd be shocked if it's not Cam Little. And, Charles, when you started out, man, the first few – I thought, did I accidentally email you my list? Because I think we're going to hear a lot of replication on a lot of these this morning. And, look, I think anytime you have a new kicker, Charles, Tony, there is reason for concern, particularly when it's a rookie. But I think it's overwhelmingly – I mean, Cam Little would have to be atrocious in training camp once you – invest a draft pick in him to not be the guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars this year.
Looking at it's a different situation going into this season compared specifically to last year. McManus had a big leg.
Yes.
Right? And it felt like it expanded the scoring opportunities for the Jaguars. It didn't turn out that way. Like, he just didn't play well enough to pay off, them having brought him here to be the kicker. We've heard that Cam Little can do some of those similar things. Like 50-plus shouldn't be a big issue for Cam Little this season, but show us.
The most important thing, honestly, I mean, the 50-plus, 55-yarders are great. It's nice to have a guy that you can roll out there and think you have a reasonable chance to get it there.
Sure.
49 and less, let's be almost automatic, right? I mean, today's NFL, and I get it, teams are missing extra points, right? So I understand. I'm not expecting perfection, but I need close to perfection. If you're going to get 25 field goal attempts at 49 or less, I need you to make at least 23 of those. Yeah. Right? I mean, barring a collapse in protection, something like that. If it's just you kicking the football, there's so many guys out there that can seemingly do it. Let's make sure we got one of those guys.
And field goal kicking has become so situational in today's NFL with how aggressive teams are on fourth down. Fourth and less than 3, at the 20-yard line, we're going.
A lot of times.
Right? Like, that's how the NFL is basically played today. So your guys attempting that 45-yard field goal because it was 4th and 9. Like, the situation demanded, look, this is a little crazy. We're in range. Give the guy a try. So even the opportunities are a little bit less for all these guys across the league. They have to be able to take advantage of it when they're given those opportunities.
Charles, appreciate the call. Let's go to TJ out in Mandarin with some pre-training camp concerns. TJ, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, my concerns are the coaching and the playmaking. That's all I'm concerned about.
What is it? The coaching and what was the second one?
The play calling.
Play calling. That's the only concern you have.
Yes, because I already know we have the talent and stuff. I'm worried about the play calling and the coaching.
Okay, that's fine. I've seen somebody submitted one that 1 through 5 was PRESS. Or press tail, and that's fine. I mean, I get if that's your only concern. There's so many things I'm concerned about more than just that. In fact, that doesn't even make my top 5.
Me either.
Honestly. And I understand why it's a valid concern for people. If Press Taylor, if whomever, if the offense doesn't click, there's going to be blame cast on whoever the play caller is, to some degree. There's always that balance. Is it the play call? Or is it for execution? Mm-hmm. Are the guys making the plays? We had errant passes, we had drops, we had all kinds of things, miscommunications, wrong routes.
Serious issues on the interior of the offensive line.
All right, that's just on offense.
Yeah.
Right? And so, defensively, I think Charles' point about how well things gel, go take a peek at that early schedule, man. They're coming for you right out of the gates here. No doubt. TJ, appreciate it. All right, Dylan, why don't we begin our portion of the countdown?
Number 5.
All right, let me bat lead off today.
Okay.
Right? I mean, we mix it up a little bit here, and that's exactly the point. I'm just going to roll right into this. How quickly will this defense adapt to Ryan Nielsen's scheme? We love the scheme. he's had seemingly instant impact. Just add Water, just add Nielsen to the Falcons, to the Saints. And overall, will he have that impact on the Jaguars? When you compare last year's overall numbers to this, I'm optimistic that they will. I think the personnel has been upgraded. I think he's got a proven scheme that we're seeing. He's a rising name among the defensive ranks, Tony. But out of the gates, you got the Miami Dolphins loaded on offense. You got the Cleveland Browns loaded in a different way, right? And you won't have Nick Chubb likely early in the season, but it's still a very good team, and they have a very good defense. Buffalo, well, maybe you catch a break early in the year because they lose Mitch Morse, they lose Gabe Davis, both to us, and they lose Stephon Diggs, who, by the way, over the last 10 games or so, wasn't a big factor for that Bills team. But then you turn around and you have Houston and Indy, so that's an important boy. If you can go 3-2, that's, I feel like, surviving the first 5 games of the season. If you're sub 500, depending on what Houston and Indy do, you find yourself in that chase position, and you can be there for quite a while. So for me, how quickly does the defense adapt to Ryan Nielsen's scheme? I think the scheme will be effective. It's just, will it be effective week 1, week 2? That early in the season? That's number 5 for me.
Number 5 for me, I'm curious to see where this may be. We just heard the caller kind of mention this as one of the issues on his list. Trevor Lawrence's game management through his first 3 seasons, which has led to many missed opportunities, too many turnovers, as we've talked about throughout the entire offseason. That has to be a thing of the past. I have it this low on this list for me in part to express my confidence one more time on my reasons for having Trevor Lawrence as my number 1 reason for confidence last week. Like, I do expect him to have a breakout season this year, but this is the issue that has to be overcome. And it is the thing that I think could hold everything else back offensively for this football team. So I have it on the list, but I don't have it high on the list for me because it's not that major a concern for me going into the year. But that doesn't mean that it's not a concern from the big picture perspective of this has to be fixed.
It's important.
I think it will be, but it deserved a place on my list somewhere on the 5.
No, I understand that. And that, look, they're all individual lists and how we feel about things. Dylan, what do you have at number 5 for you?
Number 5, I got, we got to get Tank Bigsby going again. We can't have, you can have a good offensive line and a good running game. You got to have more than one running back to be the workhorse. You got to have somebody that you can feed off of. Tank Bigsby has to be the guy that we thought he was going to be last year this time.
I feel like that's a first world problem, man. If your backup running back is one of your top 5 concerns, I feel like
you're doing
that,
all right.
You're doing okay. Honestly, because I do think there are teams out there that like the Jags. Now, maybe their schemes are better, their offensive line, their blocking is better. And we do see backups come in and pick up right where the starters leave off sometimes.
Sure.
But I think there are a lot of teams out there that the drop off from number 1 to number 2 is massive at that position. And right now, Tank Bigsby, I think, has ability, and he's got potential. Potential gets a lot of coaches fired. And, will he maximize it again? Everyone's list is different. If I heard a list that started with Tank Bigsby as my number 5, I'd feel pretty good that we don't have too many pressing concerns, but we'll see how Dylan's list plays out. If you want to get yours in, hit us up at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines or on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures or out there on social media, however you want to do it. John Oehser next hour. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark here with you right now. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Maybe you skip breakfast today. They say breakfast is the most important meal in the day. Of course, you can have breakfast any time of day. If you're a late-night night owl like me, a little 1 a.m. breakfast is not the worst thing in the world. So when you're driving around Duval, whatever has you out on the road, if you feel that grumbling in your belly, maybe you want some of Dandy's delicious breakfast items. Swing into a gate station, look for the Dandy and Anytime Deli label. They've got a full line of breakfast stuff for you. And it's not just that, obviously. obviously. The sandwiches, the subs, the salads, the protein packs, the fruit cups, the veggie trays, you name it. If it's convenient, quick, pick-me-up food on the go made with the highest quality ingredients, locally sourced as often as possible, terrific variety, and prices that always hit you in the right way and don't crush your wallet. That's Dandy. The Thompson family started this company nearly 70 years ago. It's the name to know in Duval. So when you're hungry, do what I do. Go out and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Summer on the First Coast, the heat, the beach, and Jacksonville Sports Radio, 1010XL.
Bolt City Heating and Air is here to keep you cool this summer. Anytime, any day, whenever you need fast, reliable air conditioning service. Their friendly technicians have fully stocked work vans, so they can get your AC done on-site the same day. Rely on a family-owned Jacksonville-grown company this summer to keep your home cooling system working smarter, not harder. Experience the Bolt difference. Visit BoltCityAC.com to schedule your service appointment. BoltCityAC.com.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
The 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris feature incredible athletes and is the third time the Olympics will be held in Paris. If you're planning to attend, USAPark.net Airport Parking salutes your support of our American athletes. So no matter where you're going, whether you're traveling to the Olympics to support our athletes or just visiting Grandma, remember to park at USAPark.net.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing has the highest wind and impact ratings available? If you want a stronger roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Learn more at primeroofingfl.com. That's primeroofingfl.com.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge? Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
Kicking off a new college football season. ACC kickoff in Charlotte. Hear what the players and coaches have to say. Brought to you by
Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park
and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. Catch up or listen again
at 1010XL.com.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Hey folks, Curtis Dvorak here. Are you a golfer, pickleball player, or a concert lover? Well, if you said yes to any of those, join me for the first ever Patriot Games on Saturday, September 21st at the Yards in Ponte Vedra. All proceeds benefit Operation New Uniform, which is a transition training program for service members, veterans, and military spouses. For more information, visit onuvets.org. That's onuvets.org. Hope to see you there.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
We usually, Tone, try to get a few of the responses in on a Tuesday Top 5 at the end of the show. A lot of times we run out of time for them, so we've got a little extra time here before we continue our countdown. And by the way, you're always welcome to get in at any moment at 641-1010. And we're talking about training camp concerns, not just training camp concerns, just what are your concerns for this Jacksonville Jaguar football team on the eve of training camp. As vets report today, we're going to have we'll hear from Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. I don't know what the schedule is. I don't know if they're like one before, one after. I'm not.
Doug is before practice tomorrow. Trevor's after practice.
See, one
tomorrow.
Before, one after.
Yeah.
So there you go. So we may be able to.
I think it's press before and then Joshua Hines Allen after practice.
Next day?
On Thursday.
Okay. Yeah. I almost had to reach through the radio last night. I had a guest on who twice talked about Joshua Allen Hines. It's like, man.
Stop it. You playing.
Just stop, man. Gotta let it go sometimes. All right, here we go from Ed. His top 5. We'll go 5 through 1. All right, build it up. 5, admittedly superstitious, but Jags gonna jag sometimes seems like bad luck at the wrong time for this team. All right. I mean, look, that's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy because every team runs into bad luck.
Yeah.
Chances are your team's not going to win the Super Bowl in any given year. Even the Kansas City Chiefs, the odds are probably – look, they may have the best odds to win it. Doesn't mean they have better than 50% odds to win it.
No.
So, if things go wrong, you can point to that and – again, he's admitted he's superstitious on that. Number 4, Trevor's turnovers, especially the fumbles, QB sneaks and in the pocket in general, and very valid. Time to build quarterback and receiver chemistry. Is there enough, right? And this is a concern for me as well, right? It was a reason for optimism. I think Brian Thomas Jr. profiles as a true NFL number 1. How quickly does he get there, I think, is a question. Number 2, injury history of specific players. It's not talking about random injuries. Sure. Anybody can get hurt, but guys like Sheriff, Cam Robinson, Eric Armstead, I think that's valid, right? Mm-hmm. Especially you get a little bit older. Are these guys going to hold up? Armstead is such a key piece to what they added this offseason. You miss him for a 4-game stretch, going to really test, just how deep that front line is, and we think it's potentially pretty deep. And then lack of elite players. We have very good players at a lot of positions. No true Hall of Fame level that's on most Super Bowl winning teams. And, at the moment, if you look at right now, who are Jaguars likely to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Likely?
Likely, that's...
I don't know if anybody's
nobody.
Likely.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think Josh Allen has a chance. He's trending. Now, he's got to start stacking 14, 15 sack seasons together.
Yeah, he's got to do this for half a decade.
Yeah, but he's got the ability to do that. Does Trevor Lawrence have the ability? Yeah, but I mean, to say that he's on any kind of Hall of Fame trajectory is just wish casting at this point in time. Yeah. There's really, we don't have that Calais Campbell. I don't look at Eric Armstead and say, future gold jacket wearer. Good player. No. Yeah. So there are a lot of good players. Most of the top 100 lists that you'll see around will have Joshua Hines Allen and maybe Trevor Lawrence in there. And that's it. So I think that's a fair criticism or a fair reason for concern for this football team.
Yeah. How many Hall of Famers does San Francisco have on it right now? Maybe 2?
McCaffrey.
And maybe Kittle will be in the discussion at some point.
Trent Williams.
Yes.
Right? I mean, Nick Bosa.
Yeah. that's kind of the Allen thing to me. Like, that's still got to have some time on it.
Didn't he win a Defensive Player of the Year award?
He did.
He's ahead of Josh, I would say.
I would say he's ahead of Josh, too. But I do think there's something to a lot of that list of these other teams that are championship contenders with multiple Hall of Famers on it. Well, that's, Travis Kelce is old. We know he's going to the Hall.
But he's still playing at a high level.
I'm not saying that he's not at a high level. I'm saying that there have been guys that we know what they're going to be at the end of it already, right? And Jacksonville, whatever that might be for them, as you said, Joshua Hines-Allen might turn out to be that kind of player. We just have to see that level that he had last year consistently.
Right.
For a period of time. I think he's capable of doing that kind of thing, but it's a little unfair on just the measure of time. Mahomes ruins the conversation for everybody. It's one of the, it's like, yeah, that dude's going to wind up in the Hall of Fame. We know it. We've known it for a couple of years. Nothing's going to slow him down. He's going to be at that kind of level. And I don't think there's another quarterback that's talked about in the same way.
Not a current one.
Right. In the entire league right now.
I mean, look, if I look and say, is Lamar Jackson likely to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? I say overwhelmingly yes.
Probably.
The guy's already won 2 MVP awards.
Yeah,
right? He's got to put up numbers as a dual threat quarterback that few guys have ever done. He's won a lot of games. Now, obviously, you add a Super Bowl championship to that resume.
He's a lock. If he wins the Super Bowl, he's a lock.
But if you were to say, if I were to bet, will Lamar Jackson end up a Pro Football Hall of Famer? I have to bet on the side of yes. For me.
Sure.
Is Josh Allen in Buffalo likely to get there? I mean, you look at the numbers he's put up over the last 4 to 5 years. I would say he's leaning towards yes, just based on statistical brilliance. Mm-hmm. And some of these guys, they'll be hurt by not having a Super Bowl championship on their resume, but I wonder how much people look, just throughout this entire era. Brady hogged up 7 of them.
Yeah.
How many is Mahomes going to hog up? There are tons of guys that get in, and there are guys that win multiple Super Bowls. I think Eli Manning will get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I don't think he's necessarily a mortal lock for the first ballot, but there's no question Dan Marino's deserving of the Hall of Fame. He got to 1 Super Bowl and didn't win it and never made it back again.
Well, he also wasn't playing in an era where there was a Manning-Brady thing going on, right? Where, there were guys that were soaking up all those opportunities, and I think you can throw in Aaron Rodgers in that to some degree, but he's won one.
Rodgers is a lock for the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Never played another
He's
down.
a lock for the Hall of Fame. He's won the MVP, I think, 4 times.
Right.
There are reasons why he's going to be in there, but he was playing at a time when Brady was doing what he was doing and Manning was doing what he was doing, but he won one.
He won one.
Right. And I think there is something to that changes the discussion around players to win one. Are there any guys who didn't win one in that era that are being talked about?
Which era are we talking about?
This whole Manning-Brady run.
Well, I mean, again, are we counting right now, this moment? Because I look at Lamar and I say, again, 2 MVPs.
I think
you're well on your way.
I think he's the next guy that you can have that kind of argument about. I'm like going back through the last 25 years, say pre-Lamar, guys that were playing in the league when Peyton and Tom Brady got into it and became Peyton and Tom Brady and did what they did. Like the runs that those guys were on. Rodgers was a guy, but he won a Super Bowl. And that changes the whole conversation about him because he won that Super Bowl. Is Phillip Rivers getting in the Hall?
He may.
He might.
He might. Right.
But again, that's going to be argued about over and over and over.
Here's
again.
one. What if Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble in the Super Bowl and they just win that game, right? Like 1 or 2 plays go differently. He's the same guy because his numbers are going to be, we're in an era where quarterback numbers are huge, right? But he's got the dual threat numbers as well. I think he ran for 15 touchdowns last year, right? Something like that. So, when you put that all together and you go, wow, those Philly teams were really good. And had he beaten Mahomes? Oh, right? And we're talking about the difference between 1 or 2 plays.
Yeah.
Which may be the complete difference in how people look at your Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah. And it's a discussion that's not going to be had for those guys likely for 20 more years. Right? So then you have to have people in the room that are willing to make the argument based on, well, if that play had gone differently for him 20 years ago, the discussion about this guy would be completely different. It's like, okay,
but it didn't.
If Fred hadn't been playing at a time where, there were a bunch of guys that made a Pro Bowl ahead of him, he could have been a 6-time Pro Bowler. Why couldn't he?
I think that's a little different, though. because that like to me, one or two plays in a single game.
I get, and it's in the Super Bowl, and it does
being a
change
champ,
it,
right?
Like it's the Super Bowl, so it does change the discussion, and we've talked about it a bunch with that team in '99. If the Jags have made the Super Bowl that year, it changes
Fred might
the discussion
already be in. Jimmy
on
might
Fred
already be
and
in.
Jimmy, on all these guys.
Yeah.
Like Tony doesn't wait as long as he had to wait to get in. If they had won that game in '99, but they didn't, it changes everything.
All right, let me give you one more top five, and then we'll get to our next in the countdown here. This is Dom is channeling you, Dylan. He said Bigsby improving at number 5. Secondary, passing game, attacking the middle of the field. That's not a big concern. Like the middle of the field, no. I feel like they've got that covered between Kirk and Ingram, particularly. You know, that's not a big concern for me. Pass rush and O-line. I think we're going to hear a lot about pass rush and O-line. All right, let's pick it up with number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah, there it is.
Number 4 for me, I had Trevor Lawrence and his game management there at number 5. Number 4, how quickly does Trevor Lawrence develop chemistry with Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr.? I think that chemistry between those guys unlocks things for Kirk and Ingram, as you just mentioned, in the middle of the field. But it is new. So the question is basically wide open right now as to how that will be answered. So I got it at number 4.
It was one of my reasons for optimism last week. Yeah. The potential that they bring to the table.
No doubt. Yeah.
By the way, next time I'm going first on all these because you just straight up ganked me. All right, Dylan, what do you got at 4?
Number 4, I got run the ball effectively. Something we weren't able to do a year ago, 2 years ago was pretty good. This kind of has to do with the offensive line and gelling well and doing good up front. It'll be led by ETN, obviously. Hopefully Tank Bigsby can join this conversation, but I'm going to say run the ball effectively.
Are you playing some kind of wishbone scheme on College Football 25 right now? Because you're leaning into the running game for both of your first 2 right now. Are you just pounding the ball down people's throats?
No, I tried Army. They weren't no good.
No?
No good. The right guard, every time the 3 tech would cross his face, every time he couldn't block him. Every time.
Unblockable. Well, what matchups are you playing? Like, are you playing, equivalent of what Army
like
would play?
some AAC or some group of 5 team usually.
All right.
But yeah, you got to
don't let the 3 technique cross your face, okay? Because Dylan's breaking it down.
Seems to be a key in a triple option.
He's a he's a film watcher. This one, Tony. Our number 4 is exactly the same. But I put it this way: are Brian Thomas Jr. and Gabe Davis ready for primetime roles? Right? Because Calvin Ridley, despite the drops, was a 1,000-yard receiver. Yes. Over 70 receptions last year. Still scored a bunch of touchdowns. Could have scored a bunch more. There's no question about it. Brian Thomas ready to be that? Is he ready to be 70 catches for 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns? I think we'd take that right out of the gates.
Yes.
And if he's that, you combine that with, Christian Kirk getting you 1,000 yards and whatever he does, Evan Ingram doing what he does in the intermediate areas, maybe stretching the field a little bit more this year, and Gabe Davis helping to take the top off the defense, and that'll be fantastic. But will that come that quickly for these young guys? And again, last week, this is one of my reasons for optimism. I think there's some explosiveness in these 2 players, potentially. Gabe Davis is not just the downfield stuff. I think they plan to use him as a big-bodied red zone target as well. He's had a nose for the end zone. His 4 years in the league, he scored 6 touchdowns once. He scored 7 the other 3 seasons. And, again, this is on less than 50 receptions every single year. So he's been a big play threat. Now, he's had – generally, Stephon Diggs on the other side, and last year notwithstanding, he has been a guy that defenses have had to account for. Is Brian Thomas going to be a guy that defenses have to account for? Or are they going to say, he's a one-trick pony, take away the deep ball, and that's going to be it? I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what he's going to be limited to. Yeah. The question is just how quickly do they acclimate? And, everyone's excited about Roma Dunze and Malik Neighbors and all these guys and Marvin Harrison Jr. Heck, up in Buffalo, some of the media going gaga for Keon Coleman, who was drafted after Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, athletically, they're different types of receivers, right? But in terms of the speed quotient, which is what you're usually looking for in today's NFL, Brian Thomas has it in spades.
Yep.
By the way, I talked with Ryan O'Halloran last night, our good friend, formerly on the Jaguar beat, then with the Bronco beat, and now is with the Buffalo News. And just a note to everybody, if you are in a fantasy draft and you're taking a Buffalo receiver, everyone's taking Keon Coleman first. Not necessarily like early. Occasionally you see Khalil Shakir go first. He said, in his opinion, Bills would be happy the way he put it with a Gabe Davis year out of Keon Coleman. 40 catches, 6 or 7 touchdowns. That's not what people are anticipating right now. People get that rookie fever. Curtis Samuel, maybe the guy to look out for there in Buffalo. If you want to get in, 641-1010 with your list of your concerns. Here's another one from RJ on X or Twitter. 5, cutting down Trevor's turnovers. 4, cornerback playing opposite Tyson Campbell. Who's it going to be? Running back depth. Man, they are all leaning in with you with Bigsby this morning, Dylan. Run defense and short yardage blocking. I mean, you can look at the offensive line as a whole as being a concern, or that specific area. Can we move people when they know it's coming, we know it's coming, and you got to get that one tough yard? Jags couldn't do it nearly enough last year. Another one, Big Will. Can Tank Bigsby develop in year 2? Man, there's a lot of concern about the number 2 running back spot here in Jacksonville. Is there enough edge depth? Can the O-line protect Trevor Lawrence? Who's calling the offensive plays and the defensive scheme starters in the secondary as a kind of a number 1 right there? If you want to submit your list, please do so. Hit us up in any number of ways, including the YouTube virtual chat, on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines at 641-1010, same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, or put it on that X platform and direct it our way. John Oehser from Jaguars.com will join the countdown. Coming up next, this is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. At 1010XL, we wear helmets and pads.
We hit, we win.
Get in the game every day.
And you do that in all things.
With 1010XL.
This July, celebrate America's independence with a fresh view from Renewal by Anderson. Hi, this is Chelsea. Right now, buy any 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free. Plus, enjoy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 18 months. Our custom-built, energy-efficient windows and doors will enhance the beauty and value of your home. Visit rbafla.com to schedule your complimentary design consultation. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey folks, Micken here for Zero Res. You and I know Zero Res loves cleaning carpets in your home. But did you know Zero Res can also clean the carpets where you work? Take a look at the floors where you work, and if they need cleaning, suggest to the boss they call Zero Res. For the month of July, Zero Res offering 20% off all commercial carpet cleaning. Call Zero Res, and they'll come out and give you a free estimate on what it will take to get the job done. Zero Res, man, you spell it forward. Zero Res, you spell it backwards. Zero Res, it's the right way to clean.
Thermal Engineers is hiring. Thermal Engineers is a commercial HVAC contractor serving North Florida for over 20 years. Qualified technicians and installers. How does top pay, 401k, and full benefits sound, and a signing bonus? Is it time for a positive change in your career? Join the family-oriented commercial HVAC contractor at Thermal Engineers. Call 230-1172 or go to Thermal Engineers, Inc., an equal opportunity employer.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Expert Automotive is ready to keep you cool this summer. Right now, get an AC inspection or a system cooling checkup. Your choice for only $19.99. Their gift to you this summer is $50 off any service and a free tire rotation with any service. Their ASE certified technicians can keep your car cool without breaking the bank this summer. Call them at 374-3373 to get an appointment today. Expert Automotive. They never sell greed, only what you need.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y.
Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Wise Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited, and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Hey there, Weekend Warriors. It's Matt Hayes. Sick of that slice? Tired of those 3-putts? What if I told you your handicap isn't about your swing, it's about your weight? Why not take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with the Waco 180? We're talking 10 strokes off by August, getting your tour card by September, winning your first major, year 1. Think about it. Fame, fortune, and most important, winning $5 off your buddy because you, sir, are closest to the pin. Taking strokes off your game is just about 40 pounds away at Awaken180weightloss.com. Awaken 180 does not guarantee an immediate 10 strokes off your score, receiving a tour card, or the ability to control the weather. Individual results may vary. Your newfound athleticism might cause jealousy among your foursome, leading to accusations of steroid use. Awaken is not responsible for defending your honor in the clubhouse. Awaken 180 cannot guarantee that your newfound golf prowess will lead to a sponsorship deal, but we can't not guarantee it either. Awaken 180 is not responsible for any dramatic fist pumps or unsolicited golf tips you give to strangers. Awaken 180 does not offer refunds for any lost wagers made on your improved golf game. Bet wisely, my friend. Strokes off your game by dropping pounds off your frame. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
It's time to fire up your grills, shoot off some fireworks, and launch one of the biggest sales in the history of the United States. It's our independent sale happening right now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. Whether you drive a car, a truck, or an EV, everyone is welcome to celebrate our independent sale with the lowest prices, largest inventory, and the most love for our country. Come celebrate with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. You don't want to miss this.
Jags fans, the Jaguars are back at the Miller Electric Center for training camp. Presented by Dreamfinder. You won't want to miss out. Stop by to get the first look at Trevor Lawrence and the team as they prepare for the 2024 season. To check out camp dates and secure your tickets, go to jaguars.com/training camp. Daily availability is limited, so lock in your tickets today.
How good is that?
Here's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. FSU head coach Mike Norvell, while at the ACC Media Day podium, commented on the focus of his team.
Everybody's working on, just gaining their understanding of things we're asking them to do, and then just the overall application of being able to go and get that done.
At ACC Media Day, FSU defensive tackle Josh Farmer says the nose snub from last year isn't forgotten.
Yeah, we definitely going to make the run, and we definitely going to be in that 12 team. That's a no-brainer. We pissed off. Now all the guys, we know what we deserve, and we're going to try to get there.
Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp begin a 6-game away series against the Norfolk Tide this evening. First pitch is at 6:35. In MLB play, the Rays fell to the Yankees, and the Marlins lost to the New York Mets. That's your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 10:56, it's 87 degrees. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Osher. Brought to you by
Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
On 1010XL.
Efforting. Got 2.5 minutes till 11 o'clock. We'll see Johnny O probably, if you're looking in the YouTube virtual studio, strolling in at any moment. In the meantime, while we've got a moment, Tony, why don't you take us around the rest of the NFL?
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
New York Jets edge rusher Hassan Reddick will be holding out to begin training camp as he continues to wait for a contract adjustment that also led to him not attending the team's offseason program after being acquired by the Jets from Philadelphia in April. The Miami Dolphins are signing edge rusher Emmanuel Ogbah. They did have Yannick Ngakoue in for a visit, but Ogbah going to be the direction they go, signing him. Cincinnati head coach Zach Taylor said on Monday that quarterback Joe Burrow has been cleared for contact as the team starts training camp. Burrow had surgery for a wrist injury that he suffered last year that caused him to miss the final 2 months of the 2023 season. Cincinnati also signed first-round pick offensive lineman Amarius Mims yesterday, so all of the first-round picks are now signed as camps across the league begin this week. Denver finished the process on the 4-year, $80 million extension with the Broncos guard Quinn Miners that he agreed to last week. Seattle is hosting free agent offensive lineman Connor Williams for a visit today. Williams started 9 games for Miami last year before suffering an ACL injury, and after missing training camp practice on Sunday, Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson missed his second consecutive day on Monday with an illness.
I was talking about a moment ago, the quarterback's likely to be on the path to Canton, Ohio. Lamar Jackson, somebody says on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, never forget, we passed on him, an NFL Hall of Fame QB for Taven Bryan, when we had a top 5 all-time defense already. I don't know if any list has the Jags 2017 defense top 5 all-time, maybe in some category, whatever the case may be. Regardless, the point is still a valid one. You had a chance to get Lamar Jackson late in the first round, and you went with Taven Bryan. I just, man, some of the decisions. The guys were talking about this morning. You go back to the draft where they took C.J. Henderson and Caleb Von Chase on. Did you hear the conversation?
I did.
Coming in? Could have had CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Both with those picks right there.
Yeah.
Now, we'd have to pay him $8 billion right now, but damn it, we'd have them, wouldn't we?
Or they could have had one of them and Tristan Wirfs. You know,
that'd be good.
Like, they could have done a lot of things that they didn't do.
They didn't do. Johnny O is here. Good morning, John Ozier. How are you?
Yeah.
Look, it's a fun topic. I say fun. It's, just something that rips your guts out to go back
How do you
and
have
look.
fun on the weekends?
Look, I get, right. This is what I do. I go back and look what might have been in some of these drafts. Every team has a what might have been, but boy, we've had some doozies. I mean, my goodness, we've had some doozies around these parts. All right, so homework assignment completed?
Yes.
You're good? All right, so we at today's Tuesday top 5 are the top 5 reasons for concern for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it doesn't mean there aren't reasons for optimism, but we played that game last week. So, by the way, good to see you. Welcome in. Eve training camp and all that stuff. So
it's an old school Jaguars Today shirt.
It's really the only Jaguars Today shirt.
That's probably like
this is the original.
That was my first year. So that was like 10 years.
This is probably this. Look, I will not throw a T-shirt away.
No.
Okay, brother. Until it falls apart. When I broke my arm in college. Okay, I had this old sweatshirt that was a hand-me-down from my sister from when she took a trip to the University of Virginia.
Okay,
and it was it was light blue. For some reason, that's not really their color, right? That's North Carolina. But anyway, it's a light blue, University of Virginia. And by this point, I cut the sleeves off. It was my, backyard football or whatever football jersey that I wore. And I was on a wet field, intramural field, without spikes, without cleats. My feet went zing, just like a cartoon, flipped up in the air. All my weight came down to my elbow. My left arm blew up, right? So when I go to the hospital, they cut the thing off me. With shears, I took it to Mom. I said, I need you to sew this.
Put it back on.
And it was like the Frankenstein jersey, and I had it for a long, I mean, that was like, at that point, it probably wasn't that old, but that was like a 30-year sweatshirt.
Yeah, back in the day, they had some cool, Virginia had some cool memories. A friend of mine, just arbitrarily, my friend David Barksdale, for some reason, had a Virginia T-shirt forever that I always like. That's a great T-shirt.
You know what? And too,
it was in 1980. It wasn't like we were following the football.
This
game.
was like the 80s, right? And this was the early 80s when I got this, and Ralph Sampson was at Virginia.
Yeah, I think Dave's predated. It was a bizarre thing to have for a kid from Jacksonville, but he had it. I thought it was.
What have you? I don't. This is not nearly the oldest shirt that I have in my collection, and honestly,
I think I still have one too. It's
yeah,
the bottom-
I probably
bottom
get
of the
2 or
drawer.
3 of these, and I probably have some like. There's a couple of drawers that I open and like that's a musty, kind of smell to it. All right, so let's put that all aside and let's get you caught up because we've done our number 5 and number 4 as we're counting up to number 1. So let's start with your number 5 reason for concern for the Jaguars.
So 5 would be the least on the list,
right?
Yeah, I'm not sure I went in that sort of order, but I'll throw them out there. I'll go with Devin Lloyd developing. And I'm not. It's probably I probably failed the assignment because I don't know that I'm like completely worried that he's not going to develop, but I think he needs to develop. But
until he does,
yeah, I think it's really important for the defense that he not just be okay. I mean, I think my concern is will he reach the point of his potential, which I think the defense needs to have that playmaking element. So,
do you think that Ryan Nielsen's going to unlock different elements of his game?
I think it's. I don't know. I mean, I think I think that's a focus.
Right. Is that the hope?
Yeah.
At least.
Without question, that's the hope. And they need to utilize him differently and put him in positions to succeed. I think that's the goal.
Will that be including more pure pass rush opportunities?
I would guess, but I don't know that, so I'm speaking out of turn.
Sure.
But you would think that given his skill set, whatever they've been using him for already, I think he has been good. But I think they need him to be first-round level good and utilize him differently. So I would expect more Swiss Army knife type.
That's a
type
good
stuff.
one though, because like everyone's got their own angle to where we come from this. So we're looking for different points of view. All right, give us the next one in ascending order on your list of concerns.
I would say kicker. I mean, I think Little has a chance to be really good, but he's a rookie. So concern is the answer there at kicker. I don't know why Cam Little wouldn't be, but I've never seen him kick in the NFL.
Right.
So I think that's a concern until he goes out there and starts drilling field goals.
Hey, look, Roberto Aguayo couldn't miss at
number
Florida
one
State.
overall.
And number 1 overall for Terrence, right? He would take him over anybody because he scored a bunch of points. But in all seriousness, he was as good as it got.
Yeah.
Right? And the ball's not that different. Got to the league, couldn't make anything. Right. Was out of the league in short order, so you don't know with these guys.
I guess mine are more unknowns. I'm not sitting there going, boy, I don't think he can do it. Just like Devin Lloyd.
Is this a battle at kicker? I mean, doesn't Cam Little have to fall on his face to not be the kicker for this team this year based on the investment?
Yeah, you would think, but I also think if there's any position that you don't know about when you bring him into the league, it's low drafted kicker. I mean, he's a 6th-round pick. You can say, well, we invested this pick, but it's a complete unknown until he starts doing it in games.
The threshold for the eject button is low, right? Like on a kicker at any point in the draft, but especially that late, it's like, well, if it's not working for a month, we'll go get somebody else to do it. We can't wait around for this to work out for him here. Like there's no room for
such
improvement.
a quick need, meaning like if you draft something else in the 6th round, okay, well, practice squad him for a year or we'll let him develop.
Remember the Will Lutz era? He was going to be the guy, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they? He agreed to terms with the Jags.
Oh, yeah.
And then he decided, "Nah, go to Denver." Where
the dumbfounded look on my face shows you I didn't remember
the Will Lutz era,
right.
which that brief period of time where he might sign with Jacksonville. That was the era.
Yeah, define era, please.
Yeah.
That was it. That's what I got for you. So good times.
That was an era.
All right, Dylan, let's make it official, and Johnny can now get into the swim here. Where are we going next in the countdown?
Number 3.
All right, up to number 3. Dylan, why don't you bat lead off here?
I'm going to say the health of Eric Armstead. If he can play, I'm going to say 13 games, I think this defensive line can be one of the top 10 groups in the league. If he plays half the season, I don't know if they are of that caliber in the league. And I think that if Eric Armstead can be what he was in San Francisco before he had this injury history prior to 2 years, we've all seen the really good interior defensive lineman just open up gaps for everybody else on the outside. If he can stay healthy, I think this group can be really good.
They're counting on him a lot. Like, he really changes all the different fronts you can play, And again, I'm not going over the top with him not being ready coming off a meniscus repair at this point in time. But this is the one area where I do feel like that injury lingers a little bit in the back of my mind, because my number 3 is there enough pass rush on this team? Yeah, we had 27.5 sacks out of Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. That doesn't mean we're going to get 27.5 sacks out of those guys this year, and there was scant, impact behind them. Is Travis Gibson going to get it done? Is Devin Lloyd going to step up? Is the presence of Eric Armstead going to unlock a lot of these guys? Is a healthy Devon Hamilton going to help penetrate, draw some double teams? All these things are possible.
They're counting on all those things.
Right. But it's, to me, until I see it.
Fair concern.
It is a concern to, I think, and it's funny because, John, the other side of the coin, one of my reasons for optimism last week was the depth of the defensive line, right? Yeah. Both the tackle and edge combined. Right. I think there are a lot of interesting ways you can put it together. Hopefully Armstead will be healthy. Let's say he plays 14 out of 17 games. I hope he plays all 17. But even if he does, we're counting on that making that kind of impact, Tony, and we got to see it.
Yeah, no doubt. Number 3 for me, I was trying to figure out where on the list I even wanted to put anything with the offensive line and what I would have on there about the offensive line. I landed on this. Is Phil Rauscher a good offensive line coach? I thought he did a stellar job in 2022, but that group was a major letdown last year. I know there were a bunch of moving pieces due to injury and suspension and trades, and I don't need the group to be a world beater. I've said that for a while now. I don't see a group that looks like it has the potential of being a world beater, but I do see a group that Rauscher has the opportunity to mold into something in a similar vein to what he got done in 2022. So in that sense, I think his challenge is similar to what that challenge was going into 2022. He did a laudable job that year. The group struggled in 23. That was clear. It's not as simple as saying it was Rauscher's fault, and I'm not trying to say that, but he has the opportunity to solidify the opinion that most, including me, were developing on him 2 years ago if he can get them back to that kind of level here in 24.
Pardon me. Breaking news on the Jaguar front. Demetrius Harvey talked about this possibility
they got it done,
yesterday. They got it done. And there were people in response scoffing like, what are these guys talking about? They're not going to give Tyson Campbell a contract extension. Well, 4 years, $76.5 million, including an effective guarantee of $53.4. The Jaguars have signed Tyson Campbell to a contract extension. Now, is it the right move? He is the highest paid cornerback in NFL history that is yet to be named to a Pro Bowl. Yeah. So there's that, but he's also the best that you have right now. And Demetrius brought this up in the context of what if Walker Little could beat out Cam Robinson and you rolled with him at left tackle this year? You could franchise tag him next year. And I brought, you got Tyson, you got Cisco. Well, there's one of those dominoes that have fallen now. So Tyson Campbell just announced moments ago, this is from Ian Rappaport's Twitter account, Jaguars signed Campbell to a 4-year, $76.5 million extension. All the details will come out. Will it be as good as those numbers look?
Right.
We'll find out.
Well, no matter, it'll be good.
You know what? He can buy dinner.
Yeah. I was a little surprised, frankly, when I figured out a couple months ago that they were trying to get this done. And it was clear that it's something they wanted to do. I was a little surprised because of the injuries last year that they wanted to do it. Not shocked. I understood it. I didn't necessarily think it was a given that they were going to do that this offseason. But much like it's a little in the vein of Trevor Lawrence, different scale, obviously, but has either showed that they are elite yet? No. Do they have all the pieces that can make them elite? Do they have the building knows them and is comfortable with how they will approach that, which is not always the case when you go sign something else. So these are, I hate even call it a calculated risk because they're better than that. But it's a calculated risk in terms of the amount of money you're giving that we believe they are going to develop and be core guys.
It's a projection that he is going to be this in Ryan Nielsen's defense as well, right?
Sure.
New scheme and all that. So
yeah, it's interesting. They really believe that he's going to fit this defense better than he has any other defense. They like the fit. When I say that to people, like, well, he was not that great in man as a rookie, had trouble locating the ball. That's after seeing him in the offseason. They believe he's a fit, and it's going to be a fit.
This is better than the SAG rate, by the way. He's turned into quite the actor. I mean, he really did a great job in that preseason hype video.
There's a little of that in the. They didn't sign him for that reason,
of course.
But he's a good kid who. This is what he wants to be. I mean, he wants to be with the Jaguars. He's all in on all that. He's a fit, cultural fit, all that stuff makes it an easier risk with the projection.
All right, we'll talk more about this after the break, but we got to get your number 3 reason for concern as we wrap up this portion of the countdown.
I went with cornerback depth behind Tyson. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, either with Tony or you. Look, I like what you see from Jarian Jones, Jarian Jones. I'm sorry. I like Tyson. Only played 11 games last year, and the hamstring injury. No reason it'll linger, but we didn't see it last year. And I just, after the top 3, even Darby, age, injury history, that's an area to watch for me. I think it fits everything we've talked about in the last 10 minutes since I've been here. None of these things mean these positions won't be good, but I think they're legitimate storylines to watch in that it's an unknown.
All right, breaking news of the morning, a 4-year reported $76.5 million extension for Tyson Campbell that includes $53.4 million guaranteed and additional incentives that bring the deal up to $19.3 a year. That's according to Schefter. That was his report on that as a follow-up to what Ian Rappaport said. Either way, you're going to make a bunch of money. Let's hope he plays that way. The Jags now have locked up a key guy on every level of the defense this offseason with Josh Hines-Allen, Foye Oluokun, Tyson Campbell. Let's hope that their belief in these guys is manifested by their play on the field. Got to take a time out here. We'll continue the countdown on the other side. If you want to weigh in, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. 1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
I do the maintenance? Come on, what do you do?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
I am the talent.
They are the drill.
They'll wait in line to see me.
Mornings on 1010XL.
All right?
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Right now, you may be running a little late, or feeling stressed, or overwhelmed, and you may be going a bit over the speed limit. So to help you relax, exhale. Ease up on the gas. You'll get there when you get there. Take a moment to just chill. This little break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Mark Watson for Hardball Creative. Free promo tip. Put your logo on golf balls and give them to clients who are bad golfers. More hacks equals more exposure. Trust me, it's science. Hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate. Get the best guarantee in the window replacement business. Save money on your new windows and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
What's a backflow preventer? In layman's terms, it's a device that stops water from flowing backward in your pipes, which is required to keep drinking water safe and free of any contamination. Here at Duck Duck Rooter, we offer everything you need to keep your water backflow prevention device up to date. From installation to routine testing, Duck Duck Rooter will make sure your drinking water is clean and safe from contamination. Contact us today to schedule your backflow testing, repair, or installation. 904-862-6769 or online at duckduckrooter.com.
Get fishing tips and stories from Captain Kevin.
Bite's gonna pick up pretty soon.
On the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Whoa!
Thursday nights at 6.
On 1010XL AM.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, a local family-owned business that's been chosen as the exclusive pest control provider for the brand new state-of-the-art Miller Electric Performance Center. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their effectiveness in keeping spiders, roaches, bugs, and termites out. When I trust them for my family and the Jags trust them for their business, then you can too. For the best service in town, call my friends at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
Good people drink good beer, and great people drink Mocama, a refined craft brewery out of Fernandina Beach, Florida. Mocama Beer Company brings sophisticated flagship beers, including Cosmico IPA and Dune Garden Lager, to the greater Jacksonville area. Whether you're hitting the water with friends or enjoying a backyard barbecue, Mocama has the perfect fare for your summer activities. Look for us wherever great beers are sold and find your Mocama.
We love talking sports on 1010XL, and I9 Sports loves giving kids the perfect way to grow up playing sports. Fall and winter registration is underway. Log on to i9sports.com and see all they've got to offer. Kids 3 and up. You can enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount. Year-round sports all across the First Coast. St. John's, Duval, and Clay. Sign up now for fall and winter. Great locations added like Fort Family Field, Westside Middle, and Duval Charter Bay Meadows. It's all online at i9sports.com.
Family owned and managed for 20 years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming golfing atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Jaguars Today.
On 1010XL.
Dropping. Fires deep downfield. And that ball is intercepted by Tyson Campbell. He picked it off. He picked it off at the 43-yard line of the Indianapolis Colts.
Tyson Campbell, the one and only interception last year. Let's get about 7 or 8 of those this year. Would be nice.
I think he has 6 for his career, which isn't a bad number. I mean, after 3 years.
Give me 2 Jaguar draft picks that have over 30 in their career.
Rasheen, right?
Yeah.
And Bees?
G. Nelson.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Reggie Nelson, left here, led the league in interceptions.
Yeah, Beasley probably had what in the 20s.
I'm not sure.
Somewhere.
I just know for a fact that because most people wouldn't, their mind would not go to Reggie Nelson immediately. As a Jaguar draft
most people would answer exactly as I did.
Adam Schefter announcing the Jags have signed 3 players to major extensions this offseason. I guess Foye Oluwakin's not worth mentioning. Schefter out there. But, yes, they have signed 3. That's technically correct.
I'm curious to see where the numbers are going to wind up on this, right? Because, they change from time to time. We hear the numbers immediately after a deal like this is made, and then within a couple of days it adjusts. It may not adjust at all with this contract for Tyson. But if it is what they're reporting it to be, that would be $19.125 million a year for Tyson on this new deal. That would put him 6th in the league right now among all corners. That would put him just ahead of L'Jarius Sneed. And it speaks to it's when you're getting paid and these things often is how all these things work out. I was looking at what would the franchise number, what's it looked at going to be next year if they had gone that route. It would have been about $300,000 more than that. It's about 19.4.
If you're just going to tag him for 1 year.
Right. So, and I don't know the details of the 4 years or where that money, it's an odd, the timing of the deal is a little bit odd to me because I've been on the side with the Tyson Campbell thing. Okay, let's see what happens.
Sure.
It really was disappointing last year. I thought he was an ascending player 2 years ago. It was a disappointing 2023. Let's see what happens in 24, and we'll talk about it. And this does feel like an offer that if they were making this money offer next year, I think he would have said yes to it then too. Like, I don't know what the impetus is for we need to get this done now with Tyson. I think it answers their side of the question of, was last year just kind of a blip for a guy that was dealing with a bunch of injuries? Right. It answers those questions, but it doesn't answer them for me necessarily, just for the team.
Well, a couple things quickly because we got to get our number 2 in the countdown in here. You've got other guys that are coming to the end of their contracts next year, right? So
you get this done, it clears the decks to be able to get it done after the season, depending on how guys play.
Right. Maybe it gets done with Tyson. Maybe it doesn't, but this takes the uncertainty out of it. You don't have to worry about the franchise tag looming out there. You've got that for another guy if you potentially want to go there. And what I'm hoping is, the immediate reaction to the Christian Kirk deal. Oh, my God. What have the Jaguars done? How can they give him that money? Now you look at it, you're like, what a bargain. I mean, honestly, compared to what receivers are making, he's making half of what the top receivers in the league are making. Christian Kirk's been worth, to me, every penny of the money that they gave him.
Yeah, the only issue you could possibly have with Christian, so not his fault, was the fact that he wasn't on the field the last 5.
Sure.
But that sort of shows how good the contract was. Like, you need him.
Right. But, Jordan Love might get a contract and get hurt in week 8 and miss half the season.
Sure.
That doesn't mean he's not worth it.
Right.
So, all right, let's get back quickly to the countdown. The news is Tyson Campbell gets a 4-year extension with the Jaguars. It is the offseason of Shad splashing the cash. Do not ever question if Shad Khan is willing to spend the money on this football team.
It's also the offseason of re-signing your own.
Absolutely.
Re-signing your own draft picks.
But not at bargain basement rates.
But I think putting to bed this whole idea that they can't retain players, right? So that's, I think,
there's definitely some of that as well. All right, Dylan, pick it up with the countdown here.
Number 2.
All right, let's go quickly on this one. Tony, question, how do I put this with the offensive line? You directed it towards Phil Rauscher. Mine is just simply this. Is the offensive line significantly improved? Right? Whether that's short yardage, that's protection, that's continuity. Will there be better health? We don't know about the health. The depth, all these things. Did they make enough changes? The offensive line was a sore point for a lot of fans. Certainly the center position, they've addressed it. Did they address it well enough? And how well will that unit play? That is, for me, number 2 on the list.
Yeah, who's playing where and how improved is the secondary, number 2 for me. They were 26th against the pass in yards last year, 25th in touchdowns allowed, lost their best corner from last season in Darius Williams. They also lost Rayshon Jenkins. How much better is Tyson Campbell going to be in 2024 than he was last year. Now he's going to be doing it for much better money in 2024. And the new faces they've added, we've talked a lot about Jarian Jones, DeAndre Prince, and what kind of impact they're going to have, along with the guys they added in free agency. It's a big question as to how they want to use all these guys, who's lining up where, and how much more effective they'll be this season than they were last season for this football team.
Yeah, I kind of went the same way as Mike, I guess. Mine specifically, are they a better interior run blocking team? And I think if they're a better interior run blocking team, I don't think they're awful as a pass blocking team if they're in good pass blocking situations. Man, when I watched this team last year, the fact that on 3rd and 2, it felt like 3rd and 11, that was the overriding theme that tripped the season and caused a lot of other issues. When you couldn't pick that up, it just put pressure on everything else. I like the Mitch Morse move. I think they've solidified it with Ezra Cleveland. But as on all 4 of the things I've talked about, I like it, but I don't know.
Sure.
So if we're sitting here 4 weeks into the season and they still can't feel like, and you still feel like on 3rd and 1 that you're holding your breath and that you feel like the odds are against them, then they're in trouble as a team.
All right, Dylan, what you got?
DB's uncertainty. You just don't know who's playing where. From the free agency, the draft class, somebody's going to play something, and you just don't know who it is right now.
All right, there you go. That's a man who got it in succinctly. We got to hit a break here. We got another segment to go. We got number 1 in the countdown. More reflections on Tyson Campbell and the offseason of spending that money for Shad Khan and the Jacksonville Jaguars continues as they lock up their young corner for a 4-year contract extension. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, John Ogier, and Dylan Denmark. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Great to see my buddy Al yesterday. He's dropped 65 pounds. You know, it's not just a weight loss. It's what comes with it. You're going to be healthier. You're going to feel better. You know what? It's not just about, hey, I can run faster now. You know, simple things. For me, I've got a compact car. When I was really overweight, it was a chore to get in and out of that car. I'm not kidding you. And it just little things like that I don't have to think about anymore that make life so much easier and so much more fun to go through the day without having those concerns. Awaken 180 has been a godsend for me. Helped me lose the key weight to get down to my goal, and I've been able to keep all that weight off and even a little bit more since last September. You could be their next success story, and I know a bunch of people have had success with them. 844-346-1800 is the number to call for Awaken 180 weight loss. That's 844-346-1800. Lose the weight, keep it off. Schedule your consultation online for free at awaken180weightloss.com.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ever wonder if Rick Ballou has an alternate identity?
Paddy O'Brien.
He'll never tell.
Ex-Irish assassin.
Ballou.
Scotland Yard would love to get their hands on that.
Evenings.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
On 1010XL.
They are after me, Lucky Charms.
Former Jaguars corner and first-year head football coach at Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows, K-12, Aaron Beasley here. Are you looking for an A-rated K-12 school prioritizing academics, arts, and athletics? Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows offers a rigorous curriculum to develop strong minds with an additional focus on growing good hearts. DCSB has been an A school for 8 years, and our tuition is free. Now enrolling. Apply at baymeadowscharter.org.
Bueller Aaron Plumbing presents
Are You Cool? Today's challenger, a paint color namer from Jacksonville, Florida. Meet Irving Stapler.
Hi, Howie.
So the next round is word association. I'll say a word and you give me the first word you think of. Engagement ring.
Jeweler.
Gas station.
Fueler.
Aaron Burr.
Dueler?
Air conditioning.
Wow. Jeez. It's a toughie.
Come on, Irv. The sponsor's going to kill me now.
Oh, Bueller.
That's right, Irv. If your AC is struggling through the summer heat, the first name you should think of for fast, friendly, 5-star service is Bueller Air and Plumbing. The name to know to make sure you are cool.
Have a
beer.
Cooler.
Stay cooler with Bueller. Visit BuellerAir.com.
Save money while beautifying your home with Renewal by Andersen with their energy-efficient, custom-built replacement windows and doors. Their exclusive Fibrex product is chic, tough, easy to maintain, and twice as strong as vinyl. Right now, buy 4 windows or patio doors and get the 5th free, plus 0 down, no payments, and no interest for 18 months. Restrictions apply. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit RBAFLA.com for details.
License number CGC 1527613.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Did you know you can charge the all-new Honda Electric Prologue in the same receptacle as your phone? You don't need these special charging stations at your home. Simply plug in your Honda or your phone. See your local Honda dealer now. We're electrified.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
Say, where's your sense of adventure?
They don't cook, but they serve up spicy sports talk.
Sure, it's on the menu.
Helmets and heels.
That is a meal.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Fans on 1010XL.
What is North America's largest freshwater fish? The answer coming up.
How long has it been since you compared homeowners' insurance rates? Log on to southernoak.com to find an agent or get an instant quote online. Find us at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
North America's largest freshwater fish is the sturgeon, which this time of year you'll find swimming around in the Great Lakes.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about letting things roll off of your back. So often we can make big deals out of things that are not really big deals. We can allow them to steal the joy of our day. But let me remind you that don't allow anyone or anything to steal the joy of today. Go out today not letting little things steal the big things that God has in store for you.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity Line of Credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity Line of Credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. 904-999-1508.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision and equal opportunity employer.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Oh No's
with Jaguars.com's John Osher.
Brought to you by
Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars on 1010XL.
Again, if you're just tuning in, the news of the morning, Tyson Campbell and the Jaguars agree on a 4-year contract extension, making Campbell one of the highest paid corners in the league. And currently the highest paid corner is yet to make a Pro Bowl. But again, a lot of projection. He played very well in 2022. They're expecting a return to form. They think he's going to be a good fit in Ryan Nielsen's defense. And, I think Ryan Nielsen probably has got to have some influence on this. I mean, the Josh Hines Allen thing's a no-brainer. Guy goes out there, gets 17 and a half sacks, free agent otherwise. You're going to make sure you lock that guy up. But this one, you could have let it play out if you wanted to. And they looked at it and said, hey, we think getting ahead of it is ultimately going to be the better path for us. And, whether it'll save them money in the long run or just one less issue to deal with. If this team plays up to its potential now, you look at many young playmakers that are locked in on both sides of the ball. Exciting time to be alive as a Jaguar fan. But again, the umpteenth time, got to prove it on the field.
No doubt.
Right? I mean, the money's great. All that's great. Yeah, and you all said it with a couple of the contracts. Like, what Devon Hamilton makes compared to what they expect him to be able to do if healthy, and he wasn't healthy last year, is way below what some of the defensive tackles are signing for. What Ezra Cleveland signed for, like less than half of what guards are getting now in free agency.
Said, in a year, Tyson Campbell's contract will have that feel if he's playing well.
If he's playing well, right. And that number creeps up to whatever. I mean, just look. They said earlier in the offseason, Brandon Ayuk would have taken $28 million. Now that number's more like 30. And that may not seem like a lot. I mean, $2 million seems like a lot to me, but you get the idea because the market, somebody's going to throw the money at somebody, and it keeps rising and it keeps going up. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I come at it from the angle of I'm not convinced that Tyson Campbell is a top 12 to 15 corner in the league. Right. And even when all that new money comes in at the corner position, he's going to be getting paid like a top 12 to 15 corner in the league. Right. Like that's where he's going to be. I don't necessarily feel that way about him at this point in his career, but I think he's got enough talent to reach that kind of level. Fair. I'm just a little bit surprised with the timing of all this from that perspective. I get it from their side, why they'd want to do it now instead of waiting a year. I know why they got the contract done with Tyson Campbell. It's not something I would do, but obviously I hope that he plays at the level we thought he'd be playing at going into this season.
And let me just say, shout out to the Jaguars cap management that I don't feel like they're on the brink of, all the bills are coming due. I feel like they've done a really good job managing when the cap hits are going to occur with the different players on this team. You went out and extended your quarterback, your edge rusher, your top corner, and your middle linebacker this offseason. And, I mean, as of going into today, Tony, the Jags had like the second or third most cap space in the league, at least for this year.
They could still bring in Jan for a year if they wanted to. Right? Like
Miami's not, so.
Right. They still have enough flexibility to do that kind of thing if that's the direction they chose to go. Like, it is remarkable what they've gotten done this offseason.
And I say that because Miami opted to go with Emmanuel Ogbah.
They did.
Who played there last year. Then they cut him for salary cap reasons. and then Shaq Barrett retires, and all of a sudden they came circling back. I didn't look to see if he did better financially.
I haven't seen the numbers.
Right, with him playing out.
It just happened this morning, so they may not quite be out.
Yeah, it might not be. Right. All right, so let's make sure we take care of business here. Dylan, why don't you fire up the old 10-10 take?
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take, brought to you by Leonard Truck Accessories.
All right, we're on to the top spot in the countdown, Dylan.
Number one.
Yes, there you go. With pause for effect. Number one. All right. You had this much lower on your list, Tone.
Yeah.
To me, this is still the number one concern because it's the most impactful thing for this football team. And I didn't put it into Trevor Lawrence cutting down the turnovers. I didn't break it down in specifics. What I put for me on my list, well, Trevor Lawrence put it all together. Yeah. At 24 going into his age 25 season in October here coming up, will he show you that he is on the rise, worthy of $200 million guaranteed? Like, I've got no issue with the contract extension. You got to plant your flag. Jags have done that with the core of this roster. I don't have any issue with the chances they've taken, and they are chances to some degree, calculated risks. But the question remains, You go out there. If you go 1-4, even if you're playing well, like you're matching up with Miami and Cleveland, then Buffalo, then Houston, then Indy, the first 5 weeks of the season.
You can't just be playing okay. You got to be playing winning football.
You got to play like you were playing at the end of 2022, heading into 2023, and you got to sustain that. You got to get on a multi-year run of being that guy. Not saying you're never going to have a bad interception again or an untimely fumble, but you've got to put it all together and start to show that you've gotten franchise quarterback money, prove to beyond the true believers here in Duval that you're really the franchise quarterback.
Yep, I had it there at the bottom of my list, but on my list, certainly, number one for me is the pass rush better. Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker combined for, as you mentioned, 27.5 of their 40 sacks as a team last year. Roy Robertson-Harris was third on the team with 3.5 sacks. They saw 4 of the other sacks leave with Chason Jenkins, Smoot. They're gone. Their production shouldn't be hard to replace, obviously. But adding Eric Armstead with a hopefully healthy Devon Hamilton and the depth we've discussed on that defensive interiors, where that 40 number really should climb this year. I don't expect the numbers for Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker to necessarily jump. That they were about at the highest level that I think you can expect them to be, right, from a sack production perspective. But everybody else gave them basically nothing. So if they get something, the impact of Eric Armstead being added to that group, a healthy Devon Hamilton, that 40 number should be pushing up into the 50s for the Jaguars this year, and that is a big question mark for me going into the season.
Yeah, I went with the same thing Mike did. Trevor, I think very similar thought. I don't have any worry that he's good. So it's not a concern that they're not okay at quarterback, but they need him to be, as year 3 turns into year 4, they need him to be trending toward elite, lift the team guy. I felt like he showed some glimpses of that right before he got hurt last year. I felt against Cincinnati that he was pushing to that, but he hasn't shown that over multi-game stretches. So cutting down the turnovers and being the guy 3 out of 4 weeks or whatever that number is you were talking, it happen every week, maybe turnovers, but is he going to trend quickly toward being the guy?
Put it this way. I don't care what anyone's opinion of his contract, because that doesn't impact his play on the field, right? I mean, you can think you got overpaid, you got whatever. It doesn't matter. But if the narrative changes to nationally to maybe they knew what they were doing after all, and they were kind of that means he is doing the things that we need to see, and therefore that opinion is reflecting that. That's a different story. Reflecting what you've seen as opposed to, I don't think it's going to go that way. I'm not worried about the naysayers, whatever. The positive people, the negative people, none of that ultimately is going to impact how he plays on the field, in my opinion. Dylan, what do you have at number 1?
I'm going to say red zone offense. Last year, the Jags in the red zone trips, they scored a touchdown 50% of the time. All the good teams, San Fran was number 1 in this category. They end up in the Super Bowl. The average margin of victory is 3 or 4 points in the NFL, and that's the difference between you kicking a field goal and getting a touchdown. You're able to have short yardage runs on 3rd and 3 or 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, and you're able to not have turnovers in the red zone. I think that should improve a lot if that's not a concern for this year.
All right, there you go. Thank you for all your submissions, by the way, of your top 5s. You can read through my timeline if you're curious to see what your fellow Jaguar fans are concerned with. A lot of the concerns are overlapped. I think a lot of ours were overlapped, and I saw a lot of those reflected in what we got back in terms of feedback on social media as well. Tomorrow is the first official open practice of training camp. The tradition continues. Fan Cam's going to be serving up that chili. Fan Cam, we got about a minute and a half. Do tell what you got cooking for tomorrow.
Well, I'm excited. I'm more geeked than Loggerman going into hunting season, I'll tell you. Let me rip off my quick 5. 5 would be the evolution of youth. Lloyd, Bigsby, Strange, these guys need to step up. 4 would be that the secondary meshes. There's a lot of new moving parts, and it is a passing league these days. Number 3, the offense sinks. And that's more art than science, and does have a lot to do with Trevor's evolution, like you pointed out. Now, my second biggest worry, turnovers. We got to win the turnover battle and win it big. And most importantly to me is the health. and that is on both sides of the line in the trenches, and Trevor himself needs to be healthy all year. And those are my 5. John, I want to personally invite you and your colleagues that do such a great job of reporting on the Jaguars out for a bowl of chili tomorrow. And I'm just geeked. Can I get one Duval from you guys? Going out.
Duval! All right.
Thanks, buddy.
Ozier's rubbing his belly. He gave you the thumbs up there. So look for Fan Cam tomorrow if you're heading out to practice. And it's absolutely gratis. Jasmine rice with the usually 13 sausage.
Free as me.
Chili. Free. I'll take 3. That's, there are all kinds of sayings, and I like them all.
Yeah.
All right. Free. You think I paid for this shirt, right?
You're not.
Most of the clothes at my house were freebies through radio station things, and that I am shamelessly, I'll wear them till they fall apart at the seams.
I'll beg for them.
I am no fashionista. There's no doubt about that. All right, Dylan, why don't we put a bow on this one?
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jags cool since '87.
It's called the cool down, man. I don't know if the Jags are cooling down. They're just continuing to charge along in what has been either an offseason that is going to be, wow, they really set us up to be disappointed, or wow, this was the offseason of the cementing of the building blocks of this franchise with the Tyson Campbell deal today. You add that to Trevor Lawrence getting his deal done, the drafting of Brian Thomas Jr. You always talk about, let's get that young quarterback, the guy he can grow with as his number 1 wide receiver. Boye Oluokun, a little under the radar, getting extended again, who's been nothing but fantastic for the Jags, and Josh Hines-Allen among them. New stadium. Getting locked in. I mean, there's so many reasons for positivity. Ryan Nielsen coming along, hopefully upgrading this defense. We'll see a glimpse of it, John, over the course of all these training camp practices, but try to take it all with a grain of salt and remember that no matter what we see over the next several weeks, it really, they can stink, and if they're good against Miami, we're going to be happy. They can look fantastic, and if they lose to Miami in almost any fashion, we're not going to be happy. And that's just the nature of the beast. It's a results-oriented business. So
That's how it'd be.
Your birthday just passed, right?
It did pass.
Happy belated.
I appreciate it.
And that's
35 years young.
I think we mentioned that last week, but Cristiano, our South American producer,
that's nice of him. Thank you.
He takes note of these kind of things. So, all right, birthday season is done. Pockets, when's your birthday?
February 3rd.
Oh yeah, birthday season's way
Super Bowl time.
Super Bowl time. Yeah, he's not sure when the Super Bowl.
It was a Super Bowl time, but they pushed it back a week.
Right, now
so
you're like
so much.
2 weeks before the Super Bowl, something like
March
that.
before we know it.
Something like right. It may be. Do a 20-game season before you know it. But regardless, all right, that's going to do it for us today. Wow. What a time to be alive if you're a Jaguar fan. Congrats to Tyson Campbell. Congrats to the Jags. Hope it works out just as well as they anticipate it will.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got some key cornerstones of this franchise locked up for a while, as you said, Tony. Draft picks that want to be a part of what's going on in Jacksonville for the long term, and that's nice to see. And let's hope they play up to that level as well. Probably see a bunch of you out at training camp tomorrow. Tony will hold down the fort in the opening stages of Jaguars Today as I try not to get skin cancer in the sun. John, try to take the temperature down to like the mid-60s, maybe low 70s at the most.
It's usually not bad for us now because you're sort of over by the wall.
Yeah,
So
which is nice. I will be by the wall. Miller Electric Center provides some shade.
It's significantly different.
No doubt. All right, so for Tony Smith, for John Ozier, for Dylan Denmark, appreciate all of you out there. Go eat a bowl of Fan Cam chili tomorrow and be part of the tradition that continues with Jaguar training camp. And let's go see these guys start to lay the groundwork for what we hope is a phenomenal 2024 season. Helmets and Heels coming up next on 1010X.